They lost the tapes of the moon landing. What you watch when Neil Armstrong climbs off the LEM, One Small Step for Man, that was projected on a wall in NASA. And when asked, why don't we go back? NASA said, well, we can't replicate that technology. It's too difficult. We already did that, man, didn't we? 17 times or whatever?
Unbelievable.
I don't buy it.
In this video, you're hearing a conversation between Sean Ryan and podcast guest Sam Tripoli, an independent researcher known for exploring controversial topics. Here, they discuss long-standing questions, missing evidence, and official explanations given by NASA over the years. Rather than declaring a conclusion, the discussion reveals why public doubt continues to grow decades later.
I want to talk about the moon landing. That was the first. So my editor, who you met, Darren, knows all about this stuff, and he's the one that got me interested in it. And so I started looking things up on the internet and came across you, and I was like, this is by far the best explanation I've ever heard. It's all in there. At least I think it's all in there. And so I want to dive in there. What got you interested in the moon landing?
That was an episode that people just demanded. I didn't want to do it because everyone's done the moon landing. And are you talking about the Stanley Kubrick one? Because I've done a few moon videos. I think I have a whole
I
compilation.
probably watched all of them, but I know the Stanley Kubrick thing was in there, how the shadows don't align, but let's go into it. I want to hear all of it.
So I debunked a lot of that moon landing stuff. A lot of that episode is based on Bart Sibrel's. Bart Sibrel, it had a documentary quite a while ago, maybe 20 years. A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, I think is the name of it. And if you're into the moon stuff, that's the documentary to watch. And Bart's someone who I trade email with, who I told him, I'm as soon as I'm ready, I got to have you in here because he knows everything about it. But I debunked a lot of his stuff in the documentary, but I couldn't debunk all of it. There were some weird things about, when you see the astronauts and it looks like there's wires, reflections off the wires. It's hard to explain that. I tried to. I said, the way that piece of equipment is, it could be this, but I agree it looks weird. And the way the astronauts fall doesn't look natural, but it's 1/6 gravity. It could be weird. I try to be open-minded to all of it. It's an episode that still confounds me. I go back and forth depending on who I talk to about whether it really happened. And I think the percentage of Americans who don't believe that we went to the moon is just rising every year. I hope I have nothing to do with that.
I'm sure you have something to do with that.
But they lost the tapes, all the original tapes of the moon landing. What you watch when Neil Armstrong climbs off the LEM, One Small Step for Man, that's not a direct feed from anything. That was projected on a wall in NASA, and the networks aimed their camera at the wall to get like this projection. And the networks were like, hey, can we just get the direct feed? Because that would be a lot better. And they're like, no, we're going to do it this way. And then they lost all those tapes. They lost the telemetry. And when asked, why don't we go back? NASA said, well, we can't replicate that technology. It's too difficult.
This segment is important because it resists both blind belief and blind skepticism. By admitting that not all anomalies can be explained away, the speaker reinforces credibility rather than conspiracy absolutism. The uncertainty itself becomes the story how unresolved questions linger despite decades of analysis. This part highlights how doubt grows not from ignorance, but from unanswered details. If even careful, debunking leaves unanswered anomalies, where should reasonable skepticism draw the line?
Yeah, isn't there like some I don't know what you call it. We can't get past a certain point, supposedly. And they said I think it was your episode. They're like, we lost the technology. It's like you lost the technology to get us to the moon. You just happened to lose it?
Nobody wrote.
Where did it go?
They just lost it. You might be talking about the Van Allen radiation belt.
That's it.
Right, which is high velocity particles. And it's this energetic field that surrounds the Earth and is very dangerous. And if you're aware of something called the South Atlantic anomaly, it's this part of our geomagnetic field that is just, it's burning a hole through it. If you look at it on like an electromagnetic map, it's just a big hole. It's getting bigger, and now it's starting to branch off into a second one, and nobody knows why that's happening. And geomagnetism and the pole shifts and all that, I can go down that rabbit hole too, because all that stuff terrifies me.
Do it.
Solar radiation and the grid going down, all that stuff terrifies me. So the Van Allen radiation belts, that you have NASA astronauts saying, oh, we think we found a way now that we can get out of, high Earth orbit, that we can finally get past the Van Allen radiation belts. It's like, we already did that, man, didn't we? Didn't we do that 17 times or whatever? But they forgot. They lost it. Can't replicate it.
Unbelievable.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either.
So just let us know what's going on.
On top of that, there was a space race or a race to the moon between us and Russia during the Cold War, right?
There was, and Russia was first to everything. We were behind on everything. Russia has first, Sputnik goes up, Sputnik 2 goes, so first man-made satellite in orbit, first man in orbit, first animal in orbit, first woman in orbit, first spacewalk, first geostationary satellites, all first. And we're falling behind, and you can hear JFK giving speeches, and they're pressing him on it. And like the Saturn program's not going well, and the rockets are blowing up on the launch pads, and he's saying, like, no matter how much money we throw at it, we're going to be second. We're going to be second. You can hear him talking about it. And then suddenly, 1969, we're there. We surpass all of it. We surpass all of the Soviets' accomplishments, and we go and we land on the moon. Okay, it seemed like we took a great leap forward there, but there's really no explanation for it.
Did we? Yeah.
Well, where do you stand on it?
I'm like you. I go back and forth. I wonder what I would think had we not been through COVID and all these other things, Epstein and all these other things that keep coming out that destroy any trust in any government institution there is.
This part ties technical questions to historical and psychological context. The sudden leap from falling behind to ultimate victory raises questions about plausibility under Cold War pressure. The Van Allen belt issue symbolizes a larger concern: how achievements once declared possible later become impossible. Ultimately, skepticism is framed not as conspiracy thinking, but as a natural response to repeated institutional credibility failures. If trust in institutions has collapsed everywhere else, why should the moon landing be exempt from scrutiny? Subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a like and comment. Share it with others who believe important questions deserve serious examination.